Good afternoon, good morning, and good night to some of the brothers, all of the brothers all around. My name is Crispin Michael Booker. I'm your first international vice president. Thank you, thank you for being here today. God is good. I'm happy to see all of your faces. Welcome to the first ever State of the Fellowship meeting. Today marks a historic day in Groove that we get to talk mid-year about our wins, to talk about the things that are going well within this organization, to hear from our president, Mr. Ahmad McDougall. The vision behind this meeting is that we get to come to you today, talk to you about all of the things that are going well and within this organization, all of the wins that we've obtained so far, and the wins that we are going to see as we get closer to Miami. We hope that this meeting becomes a part of our DNA now, where we can come to you mid-year, get you excited, get you ready to attend our delegates meeting annually. We're here to talk about the membership. We're here to talk about our projects, our financials during this meeting. So just so you get an idea of what to expect, I will be opening for our president to talk about a few things, and then I'll bring in our president to kind of dunk the ball at this point so everyone knows what we're doing, where we're going. And over the last couple of months, we've asked brothers to submit questions, and I'll be reading those questions to our president, and he'll be answering those questions for you. Just so you know, this administration, our principles are transparency, integrity, and innovation. As you've heard Ahmad say on many of occasions, or anyone on the directorate staff or the executive board, our phrase is all wins and no losses. That is not just a catchphrase. It's what we believe in. It's built in our DNA. It's a mindset that we have. We go into any meeting, we go into any business transaction with the mindset that we are winning and we're going to win. And we're going to present everything that we can to the fellowship from a winning mindset. So let's talk about some wins so far. Our undergraduate sector is doing phenomenal at this point, right? We just recently have brought in a line from Ghana, and we just expanded to the Dominican Republic, right? I don't know about you, but I plan on going to DR, meeting our good brother, and being able to help him expand it. And just last night, we took over young men at one of our historic chapters, Yellow Jacket 2. So congratulations to those fellowmen, and congratulations to the virtual alumni chapter for supporting that, getting them on the campus and expanding that chapter. Just to talk about some of the wins, how we're supporting our undergrads. Our undergraduate leaders right now, they are holding a bi-weekly meeting where undergrads come in, they learn about the organization, they learn about what we're doing, they learn about our DNA at that point, right? And then we have fellowmen, graduate fellowmen that are coming in on these meetings and presenting how to market, how to talk about Groove, who we are, what we can be doing better, and also how to expand on your campus, right? And then we've heard this conversation over and over the years of bridging the gap. So we encourage fellowmen, graduate fellowmen, to attend these meetings so they can, one, meet the brothers that are new and start bridging that gap, start networking, start talking to them from that standpoint where they feel like, you know, this is not just an organization that's on their campus, but something that's international. Let's talk about some wins that are in our community service sector. By leading the way by our fellowman Cosner, who's doing a phenomenal job, right? I'd like to congratulate all of the chapters that has been exceeding the expectation for community service projects completed. Just to note a few, we have Hudson Valley grad out of New York with 104 completed projects. Hudson Valley, I don't know what cheat code you guys have, but please share with the rest of the organization. We like to be meeting your numbers as well, right? I'd like to shout out Northern Maryland grad, also known as Nomad. Thank you, at 44 completed projects. And Greensboro grad, rounding up third with 38. Congratulations to our graduate chapters for meeting the bar and then raising it, right? Our standard has been, you guys have set the bar to a whole new level where we are going to meet you there. And of course, from our undergraduate sector, we're a service-based organization. Why wouldn't our undergrads be following up? Congratulations to BD1. Thank you at 27 completed projects thus far. And the year hasn't even finished yet. This is just mid-year. Let's talk about Operation Stay Woke. Everyone has had a comment about why we are going to Florida, why we're having our delegates, our international conclave there. When I became a member of this organization, I believed and I understood that Groove were trendsetters. We we set the bar. We set where we're gonna go. We set the tone of how we're gonna do things. And our president said, hey, I'm gonna put together a 10-point plan where we're gonna attack the community. We're gonna help our students. We're gonna send them to colleges. And more specifically, we're gonna get them to HBCUs at that point. So President McDougal will be talking about his 10-point plan called Operation Stay Woke. And let's talk about another initiative, right? We talk about innovation. Our president came up with big ticket, big vision items initiatives. Through partnership with Good STEM, we were able to build computer labs in 2 countries so far, in Grenada and in Ghana, supporting over 20,000 students since we became partners in 2019. I don't know about you, but that is a huge win for this organization. We are supporting kids in their computer literacy, their growth in school, not only here, but also abroad. We also will be working with Veronica's Waves through that initiative, Big STEM, where we will be going to Costa Rica. We've committed to build more computer labs in Costa Rica. We've committed to build labs in St. Vincent, Sierra Leone, and in Africa, and in Ghana again. Moving on to innovation. That is one of the pillars of this administration, right? We want to be innovative. We ask the question, how can we stay on the cutting edge in all facets as an organization? So starting soon, with the help of the Groove Community Fund, the international office will be launching a new project management tool that will allow us to track all of our projects across the board, right? All of the committees that have projects, the regional directors have spoken to each of their chapters and asked them to submit an undergraduate growth plan. They will be entering that growth plan into Monday, our project management tool called Monday.com. They will be entering in your growth plan there so they can track how well our progress is at the schools in your area. So this is going to be helping us figure out, hey, if we need to keep going in the direction where things are working, or if we need to pivot to another school where we're not getting the same feedback and reception from administration. So the overall goal is to be able to come back to you when we get to the delegates meeting and display the wins that we have on the board from all of the projects that we have laid out there, and also to track our growth moving forward. We have a new strategic digital marketing committee who I just met with right before this meeting, and they have some amazing plans where they're lining up content creation. They're looking for a marketing officer to come and join their committee. So a lot of promising things are coming out of that committee. Our IT committee is in the final stages of putting out a new training platform that will be available to the fellowship, where you can train one on learning how to talk about this organization, but from various different platforms, from internal with the organization and external for your career at that point. And keeping on the trend of innovation, we have a database now. When I became a Groove 19 years ago, I heard about the 60,000 members strong in this organization. I think that is a wonderful number from a marketing standpoint, but this administration is all about things that we could prove, the numbers, the analytics at that point. So in order for us to capture that information, we built a database That database is called Membership 365. That allows brothers to uh, log in, pay their dues, allow to contact other fellow men if they are traveling to another state. It allows you to pull down all of our financial documents. We also have our constitution and bylaws there. So all of this information it's a one-stop shop that everyone should be utilizing and taking advantage of. For our undergrads and new members, there is a video there, a new member onboarding that all of our undergraduates and new members are required to take. Our regional directors should be following up with our new members to ensure that that video and training is done at that point. Through innovation, we also came up with, and I keep calling his name because Ahmad is the innovator that we follow, but he noticed a trend, right? We started losing members either after they graduate or when they became at a certain age when they retired. So he looked at our membership classification and he created two new ones, right? So we have a statesman membership classification for all of our fellow men that are 62 years and older, and then we have a recent graduates for all of our members that are 22 years to 30 years old. This allows you to reduce the graduate fee by $50, paying $150 for the year. Now that we have a database that allows us to pay dues, we also came up with the opportunity to pay on a monthly basis. We understand that, you know, getting out of college, your finances might not be the same, or, you know, natural disasters may hurt our fellow men, or even you get to a point where you retire and you're on a fixed income. Now you have the ability to pay your dues on a monthly basis. For undergrads and for lifetime members who are paying their maintenance fee, you can pay $10 a month to be financial. Every month that you pay, you are financial. For our statesmen and recent graduates, you have the ability to pay $15 a month, right? $15 a month at that point. And for our graduates, you have the ability to pay $20 a month, right? So there is no reason why anyone should not be financial at this point, right? You have the ability to either pay the way we've normally been paying up front, right, which dues are due on September 1, or you have the ability to pay from a monthly standpoint. So please take advantage of this opportunity. Take the knowledge that we're sharing with you, and if you have a line brother, a chapter brother, you know, someone that is not financial, share this information with them. This meeting is, we are recording this meeting, so you can share this with them as well, so they have the information as well. So now I'm going to be turning it over to our international president. Let me tell you a little bit about this man before he comes on. He is a motivator. He is a father. He is our president. He works for the people. He is a man of service. When I became a member, I've had the opportunity to see two presidents before him, and I haven't seen a president in the trenches for his community as much as I've seen Ahmad in the trenches. He calls me every morning. He calls me every night, even when my phone is on Do Not Disturb, just to ask me a simple question. How can we get better? What do we need to do to get better? How can we connect our older and younger members? What do we need to do? How can we improve? Ahmad is the first in and the last out. When you hear that term, I want you to think of Ahmad. In his, since he's become president, it's 5 years now, he's written 12 amendments that has improved how we handle and conduct our business as an organization. And he has more amendments waiting for us as we get to Miami. So please welcome my friend, my mentor, and our international president, Ahmad McDougal. I yield my time, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. And I know we're all muted, but let's give our first national vice president a hand in our own homes and our own domiciles, because he's doing an exceptional job. And I don't know what I would do without our first international vice president and our second international vice president. So thank you. Good afternoon, honorable founders, honorable past presidents, executive board of directors, statesmen, graduate members, recent graduates, and undergraduate members. Welcome to the inaugural State of the Fellowship, where we talk about our challenges, our strategies, and our accomplishments as a fellowship at the conclusion of the second quarter of the fiscal year. I would like to start this with a quote that I think is rather fitting for where Groove is and where the African-American man is in our current state of affairs. This quote was made by Dr. Martin Luther King on August 28, 1963, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is the time for vigorous and positive action. And so we understand that our communities need us today. You don't put off things to do tomorrow that need to be done today, but we also have to understand that we're on the long road home. That's what I consider to be the long road home. That is in the same vein as going back to the future. When I hear about the stories of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and our forefathers in Groove that have brought us to this point, I want to bring us back to that time period. We were bustling at the seams of undergraduate campuses, where we were just starting to get graduate chapters together, but we had plenty of members that were looking to join, where we were serving in the community. We were part of other movements, and we were at our optimal capacity at that time. But realize that while we are urgent, and we have urgency, that it's going to take time. That's why it's the long road home. Nothing of true value can be obtained without effort. Nothing achieved too quickly would be sustainable. So we focus on strategic, sustainable, data and impact-driven goals with measurable outcomes. And we view it through the lens of human capital, financial capital, and social capital. At the 60th anniversary, the previous chair and legendary brother, Mike Chang, and I, we spoke about human capital plus financial capital equaling social capital. Human capital is our most valuable resource. The fellows, the brothers, the families, the people that support the mission of Groove. Financial capital is the resource that allow us to do the things that we do in communities in ease and make it a little more simple or easier to do. And through that, we gain social capital, which allows us to bring other organizations in to help us and support us, whether financially or through manpower, to help us achieve our overarching goals. In the realm of human capital, which is again our most valuable resource, as it stands right now, we have 901 financial members as of 3/3/2024. In FY20, the first year of our administration, at this point, we had under 200 financial members. And we finished out the year at 426. This year, we were above 600 financial members on the first day of the fiscal year. That, by any considerable term, is considered progress in my eyes. And then as we look deeper into the membership types at a granular level, our lifetime members, I want to thank and salute you. We have 301 financial lifetime members that went above and beyond the call to pay their annual fee. We're up from 81 in our first year of this administration. That is a big jump. And we only have but a small amount of lifetime members left before we reach 100%. Recent graduates, which is a new membership type, we have 39. That's up from 13 in the first year of our administration. Undergraduate members, we have 72. That's up from 35 in the first year of this administration. Statesmen, which is a new membership type, we have 103, which is a phenomenal number for those gentlemen who have paved the way for us. Subscription members, 77. That's a high number, and we're gonna go above 100 in this year. And our initiates, we have 50 initiates so far. That is 5 away from our total from the first year of this administration. And this is halfway through the year. This is only the second quarter ending. We're going into the third. So all in all, our human capital is building. On a personal note, I would encourage, gentlemen, especially if you are younger, if you are younger and middle aged, I encourage you, I implore you to go talk to our elders. Listen to their stories of grandeur, listen to their faults, listen to their achievements. They had way more achievements than they had faults. And you get a special type of education from a gentleman that's been in this organization for a number of years. There is no doubt that none of us would be here without them. And you have to remember that when our elders were young, they didn't have elders, right? When you think about when this organization was 10 years old, nobody was over the age of 30, 32. So who did they go to? They had to go to themselves. We have a resource in them. Now we can go to them. So I would implore you to go to them and listen and learn. Nothing makes my day more than a phone call from a station or a phone call from an elder. And it may be that he may be offering criticism, or he may be offering ideas or thoughts, but no matter which way it goes, it is helpful to be able to hear and listen to those gentlemen. Undergrads, elders, we also need to go talk to undergrads. They are the innovators. They know the technology. They know the new ways for us to attract interest and accomplish our goals. They are the ones who are going to lead us into the future. Your grandsons, my sons, will be pledging to join this organization under their leadership, because they will be sitting in these seats not too long from now. So take time to pour everything that you can into those undergraduates and those younger gentlemen. Remember, on all sides, the concept of a wellness call is important. We are fellows, we are brothers. We're not just members of Groove by Groove, right? So we care about each other's families, each other's standing, each other's welfare. So it doesn't hurt to just call somebody, whether financial or not, and just check in on them. And you don't have to know the brother. If you just know of the name, or if you see a name, or you go into 365 and you randomly pick a name, just call the brother, see how he's doing. That's what family is about. And that's what Groove is about, as I understand it from the founders. So on a personal note, make sure to check in, make sure to get the information from our founders, make sure to get the information from our elders and our statesmen, and also get the information from our middle-aged and undergrad, because they are the ones who are going to lead us into the future. So with respect to our financial capital, our financial position, we are doing exceptionally well. I want to be clear. We are making prudent decisions at the international level, but it only comes because you have entrusted us with your hard-earned money, whether it be through retirement or whether it be through your job, and you have entrusted us to use those dollars to grow and expand our organization, and also grow and expand our financial resources. So liquid, meaning the money that we have cash on hand, we have $144,000. Hard assets, brick and mortar, our building is worth $376,000. That's up from 220. That is really based on some capital improvements made by my predecessor, President Dennis Thomas, and also by him providing us guidance as we make changes to the headquarters up until now. Those capital improvements add in value almost immediately as soon as the project is done. And now you see where our building is worth 376, and I imagine it's going to go higher in the new fiscal year. Our self assets, and I want to really focus on this. We have currently $281,500 invested with Morgan Stanley. Our portfolio diversity is as follows. We have 60% in moderate risk, 15% in moderate high risk, and 25% in high risk. We invested $150,000 over the first 2 years of administration, which is really what we made above and beyond expenses, or a little bit more than that, above and beyond expenses in the first 2 years. Based on advice from our financial manager and several other brothers with extensive experience in financial markets, we invested another $100,000 this year. When we had $150,000 invested in our portfolio's value rose by $13,000. The market has changed with respect to inflation, technology growth, and speculation around a lower federal interest rate. That informed our decision to invest more. And at this point, our portfolio value has grown to $31,500 as of closing bell on Friday. That means that's what we call mailbox money. We didn't have to do anything to earn that money. All we had to do was invest and trust and listen to those subject matter experts of financial markets, and we made $31,500 just off of sitting there watching an app on our phone. So that is important. We are taking a more advantageous approach because I don't plan on spending any of that money in this administration. I really want to leave that as a nest egg for administrations in the future so that they can have some residual income coming in of something that they didn't have to set up themselves. And it'll allow them to use that money to innovate the organization even further than we will in this administration. In total, we have $801,300. That's 801,000, right? So that means we're on the way to becoming $1 million organization in just 5 years. That's up from 350,000 that we had total assets in our first year. So it's our ultimate goal to lead this organization with the next president as $1 million organization, drawing somewhere to $50,000 to $75,000 in residual income on an annual basis. And that will really push us in the future. Now, when you also think about our financial capital, you got to think about our resources. The Groove Fund has $300,000 in their accounts. That's up from $40,000 a few years ago. Total endowments, meaning total endowments from all the chapters that have endowments, have quietly amassed near $500,000. Nearly $500,000 in endowments. I'll be darned if they don't say that Groove does not invest in education of our youth. Nearly $500,000. And you know how an endowment works. You put your money into the university's coffers, they put the money into the stock market, and the yield that you get every year is directly invested into the students as they apply for scholarships. And when children or kids, young men and women go to apply for these schools, and they look at the scholarship listing, you'll see Groove 5 Groove several times. For instance, Morgan State University, they quietly amassed nearly a $250,000. UMES, they quietly amassed almost $150,000. I just saw something from North Carolina A&T where they put a $25,000 check up, and then I asked a little question to the president, Derek Stansel, and they said, no, that's just 25. We already had nearly 50,000 in that endowment account. And so brothers are doing well with our resources. They're investing in their schools, they're investing in their alma maters, and be proud, be encouraged that we have that type of investment in education for the future. Also, another thing to be proud about, our community service. We rose the bar. We asked for more, we expected more. And you stood up and you took on that challenge. We have 686 individual acts of service completed halfway through the year. Halfway through the year, 686, that's very important. You have to think of that scope and scale. 71% of our chapters are in compliance with the community service requirement. And as I look deeper at the report, of the 29% left, 50% of those chapters have met the requirement, but they just haven't submitted the form. Because we have social media now, so I see it. We can all see the pictures of the service taking place. And it brings a smile to our face, ear to ear. But all I ask is that while you do that, make sure you submit the form so we can use that information to leverage our community service outputs to bring in more resources to make it easier for you. So please fill out the community service form. It's fairly simple. If you have an issue with it, contact our Chief Community Programs Officer, contact our membership director, contact the second national vice president, the first national vice, or contact me. We are all here to serve and help you. That's what our job is. So you can contact any one of us to help you with any one of these things, because we're only doing them because we want to grow the organization. We're only doing them so we get the proper credit. We're only doing them so we secure the proper resources to help you along. Internationally, our vice president just spoke about 25 labs serving 20,000 children annually. Nobody does that. Nobody's doing that except for us. That's the road that we're on. We're on the road of doing things that nobody else is doing, helping people that nobody else is helping, to make us the most formative community service first historically Black organization that exists in the United States. And we're not leaning towards that, but we're already on that road. We're already considered in certain circles to be one of the preeminent historically Black organizations based on what we've done. We also have fed 200,000 families in 2 years through the Group 5 Feeds program. And that includes our donations through Group Feeds America, and also what we watch and see and you report on in your local communities. That is critically important. We have to be proud of the things that we accomplish. We have to lay claim to the things that we do well, and then also improve on the things that we have challenges in. Now I want to jump into some of the conclaves. The Miami Conclave 2024 is sold out. It's been sold out for some time. I am very thankful for the fact that the membership has responded as well as it did. And quite frankly, we felt a need for us to do better in preparing you to attend the conclave. Hence why you see we have sent out the information for the hotels much earlier than we've ever done it in this administration. We've also sent out the information around the events much earlier than we've done in the past. And we have curated events based on your feedback, whether it is positive or critical. So we are listening. We have separate events now. We have graduate events and undergraduate events. The first year we did it at the 60th, we separated it then to try something. The last conclave we had in New Orleans, we put it together because brothers said they would rather have it together. Then we actually had it. The feedback that we got let us know that we should probably separate it again. So we're going to try it again, separate it so that you can have music and an event that's catered, curated for your personal experiences. Also, we allowed a larger subset of the fellowship to officially weigh in on a location choice. And I think through that, we've achieved more buy-in. In selling out 200 rooms, the most rooms we've sold out prior in history has been between 80 and 100, and that's at 50th year anniversaries. So we're double that in an off year. There's no anniversary. This is just us going to Miami to serve in fellowship. And in our new way of asking the fellowship, where should we go? By asking every fellow where we should go with the survey. At the end, gentlemen. Gentlemen, why are we viewing Michael Williams' screen? Pause for 1 second, please. Thank you. So through the survey, we asked more fellowmen because we thought that just asking fellowmen to receive input from delegates in the delegate meeting, we didn't think it reached far enough. We didn't think that the data was immersive enough. So by going in the route that we have tripled the amount of input that we have received. And then the byproduct of tripling the input we received is that we sell out everything early now, much earlier than we've done in the past. Also, we've listened and learned and tried to improve the experience and added value to some of the considerations around the event in hopes of making each conclave more enjoyable experience than the preceding one. We have shuttles now. We have open bars, so on and so forth. We've created events that are really appreciated, liked, and attended by the fellowship, and we will continue to do so. When we take our survey every year, we really look at every survey and try to find ways to meet brothers where they're at. Now, with regard to this Miami conclave, there were several concerns, especially from an older gentleman that came from the civil rights era. And I definitely respect their wishes. I respect their input, and I really respect some of the stories that we told, that they told us, and they taught us about different things. However, the fellowship chose as a whole to go to Miami. So meeting you in the middle is creating a 10-point plan so that we're not just going to party. We're not just going to fellowship and have a good time. That's part of it, but we're also going to serve. So I'm going to go through the 10-point plan. And then at the end, you can call me or the vice president or anybody if you want to dig deeper to any one of these points. So we set a goal of providing $20,000 in scholarships in partnership with the Blue Fund. And that offers educational opportunities to those gentlemen and ladies that live in that area, to hopefully build the next population of teachers in that school system. We're going to launch and maintain a Black History digital library. You know, through the Stop Woke Act passed by the Florida legislature, they have banned 100 books of Black history. Books like the history of Harriet Tubman have been banned from the library and from schools. So we're going to launch a digital Black History library for which you can go into your phone, sit on your couch, and access these books for free. We're starting with the banned books, and we're also going to add other books that speak about Black history so we can make sure that our children in that area, and then furthermore, especially everywhere in the country, are able to access books for free and with ease. We're going to support educational opportunities through our partnership with the Common Black College application. For those who don't know, the Common Black College application allows students to pay $20 and apply for 65 HBCUs simultaneously. And so we have gone on a partnership with them. We've had meetings with them, and we're going to hopefully provide funding to pay for 500 applications. So we're going to pay for 250, and the Common Black College application is going to pay for 250, for a total of 500 applications for students in the local Miami metropolitan area. We also have engaged the mayor and local nonprofit boards to understand and support local and existing initiatives. We're going to provide advocacy and policy engagement through the gentlemen that we have in our organization. We're a college-based organization. So we have gentlemen of all different walks of life that have done all different types of careers in their life. And so when we start to get some traction, that's when we start to pull brothers in to help craft and create policy. It's not every place where you can go in a community and find a group of Black men or men of color who are college educated, who are invested in formative change in the community, and that is us. We're going to support local entities that engage in voter registration and education efforts. We're going to endeavor to support and expand the local political infrastructure. We want to make a way for the residents to be able to freely connect with and communicate with the political infrastructure, and vice versa. And then hopefully through that infrastructure, they and we can start to help select young men and women who are children who are residents of this area to grow into the new political structure as time goes on, and keep it as a feeding mechanism to where they feed the political infrastructure with people that come from the community, people that believe in the things that the community believes in. And I think that's critically important. Economic empowerment. To the extent feasible, we're going to support Black businesses. Our board chair, Jamel Matthews, who also serves on the conclave committee with Ace Martin, the chair, they've been doing all that they can to try to find Black businesses for us to contract with. It's been somewhat difficult, but as we said, to the extent feasible, we're going to support Black businesses, because these are the businesses that have been hurt the most by the boycotts and by the NAACP and the other organizations. Because most people that go to Florida, first of all, are not Black, right? And they do not frequent they do not frequent Black establishments. So then when you take away Black people from visiting Florida, the Black establishments hurt the worst. A large number of establishments have went out of business due to that boycott. These are Black establishments. So we're going to support them. We're going to support mentorship-focused organizations. And looking at the news and research on the internet, there are plenty of organizations that since this act has been enacted, they have created their own Black history programs on Saturdays and after school. And we know, just like us, they're nonprofit organizations just like us. They need funding just like we need funding. But we're an institution. We're not a local nonprofit. So we have amassed a considerable amount of finance to be able to support these type of goals. These are the goals that were established by our founders. We want to make sure to educate and create the intelligent and effective leadership in the future. That's within our within our organization and outside of it. And then also we're going to have public expression of our discontent via marketing apparatus. So we're going to use the billboards that we have for our organization to show, welcome us to the city. We're going to use those to have digital imagery and wording that key in on some of the injustices, some of the laws, and some of the thoughts of the Florida legislature. And we're going to lay it bare and plain. LP Simon says, make it make sense. That's what we'll be doing on a large scale. And we're going to be careful about how we market it, because there's a situation in Florida where, you know, people that are in positions of authority feel that they can do whatever they want, but we still are going to lay bare our discontent, and that's important for us. And so this is not a strategy just for the Miami Conclave. Miami is ground zero. Florida is ground zero in the fight for social justice. So this is a long-term strategy with some deliverables when we arrive and some deliverables that will come after we have left. Because there is not a place in the country that has this amount of amassed injustices and injustices that are supported by the political structure. They have these laws throughout 44 other states, and some of them have passed and some of them have not, but those laws still exist. But Florida seems to be ground zero because they have carte blanche. They're able to continue to create new things that further injustice or further inequality. So we're going to be invested there for a long period of time. We're going to learn from there and then expand onto other places. For the Houston Clave, 2025, we've released 2 RFPs with the intent of securing a high value yet cost-effective options for the fellowship along commercial corridor. So RFPs are requests for proposals. So we send out what our requirements are, what our membership looks like, how many rooms we will need, what type of event space we need, and we lay a price out that we would like, or we would like not to go above. And that creates a bidding war locally in a formal way, because now it's documented. It's not just us talking on the phone with people. And so what we've seen is that we've driven the price down considerably. Most of the hotels that we attend now, or that we stay at, they are pricing near 35 to 40% lower than what it normally costs to be in that hotel in that summer month. So this RFP helps us along. We're at the final stages of negotiations with the Hyatt Regency, which is across from the Galleria Mall. The gentlemen from Houston that have been in Houston know that's a nice area, commercial corridor. I want you to be able to walk outside and go to restaurants and go to venues and have a good time. The Conclave is a place of business, but it's also a place of vacation. So I want to make it as easy as possible for you to have a good time. Next, we have 2027. 2027 will be in the District of Columbia, and it'll be co-hosted by the brothers from the DMV area. We want to celebrate our 5th anniversaries from now on in a location that is feasible for the founders. We must be thankful for the time that we do have with them. We want to make sure that it's easy for them to come and celebrate what they created. So that's why we went from 10-year anniversaries to 5 and 10 anniversaries. And DC and Baltimore, the Maryland area, they seem to be the places where the founders are most likely to attend or easiest to get to. And that's based on the meetings that we've had with the founders. Of course, Honorable Founder Hampton brought me in on the founders meeting and gave me the opportunity to listen to them and ask them questions. And so also on another note, this is the makeup for the Clave that we lost to COVID-19. It was voted on and selected by the fellowship at the Conclave, and the local DMV brothers put considerable effort into planning and advocating for DC to be selected. So this is the one Clave that we missed. We missed New Orleans, so then we went back to New Orleans, thankfully. We missed DC, now we're going back to DC. And we're going to have a delightful celebration for which our founders will be present and will be available and be ready to listen and talk and teach. So this is important for us while we have them here with us, and we hope we have them forever. But while they're here with us right now, and we know they're here with us, we need to be around them. We need to shower them with love, because they created this way of life that we all have followed behind, that we all have given our time, given our effort to. We all have grown relationships that lasted decades through. It's without their vision, we wouldn't have this. So that is the conclaves. Now we're going to talk about amendment proposals. I got 4 amendment proposals on the table right now. So this will be 16 for our administration. And realize that we're not trying to essentially change the groove. We're just trying to tighten up things and prepare us for exponential growth in the future. And we want to document things. We don't want anything to be left up to question. We want you to be able to look at the document and say, okay, this is what it says. So this is how I'm supposed to conduct myself. This is how I conduct business. So we created another C-suite title for membership committee chair. There is an immense amount of work that goes into the membership chair. I can tell you myself, I was a membership chair, and even as much work as I thought I did, is nothing compared to what Crispin did, and it's nothing compared to what Robert Hicks is doing. So we got to be thankful for him playing that role for free. We've created a lot of things. He's got to manage those things along with the vice president. So we want to give him a title that matches his work output. And we also want to make sure the titles of all of our executives meet industry standard. We're nearly at the point of engaging multinational institutions. We're nearly at the point of our social standing being high enough to where people are looking for us. It's just starting now. And so when we engage, I want them to talk to our CFO, to talk to our COO, to talk to me as a CEO, to talk to our CPPO, our CCPO, to talk to our CMO, and hold us with that respect that we deserve, and with the respect of those titles and positions deserve. And then we also have to think to the future. We want members in the future to aspire to sit in the seat and hold a title that is industry recognized and communicates transferable skills and experience that will render our members more marketable in the employment sector. I want the 23-year-old, 25-year-old, 21-year-old to aspire to sit in one of these titles and work for Groove, to bring their special set of skills to the table for Groove for free. Because that's what fellowship and family is about. Next amendment, we have clarity around virtual alumni chapters. Virtual alumni chapters make up 24% of our financial membership and 25% of chapters in good standing. They represent 15% of our community service outcomes and have created scholarship endowments totaling over $250,000. Additionally, 11 of the 16 alumni chapters have revitalized or sustained growth at undergraduate chapters. Based on the data and outcomes, alumni chapters have filled the void. And so we want to encourage and support them. However, with encouragement and support duly comes heightened expectations. With one of the amendments proposed, alumni chapters would carry the same responsibilities as any other chapter, so they should formally receive the same rights and privileges. And we're just trying to establish clarity. And then we're going to do away with the term virtual, which is called an alumni chapter, because while it was a novel idea when it first was created, and the word virtual was novel at that time, it was new. At this point in time, most of our chapters conduct meetings virtually as well, and these virtual chapters have a number of members that are living in the area of the university. And so we're going to transition them to alumni chapters, and we're going to give them the same requirements as every other chapter and the same rights and privileges. The next amendment, powers and duties of the director. We want to create a clear process and system of accountability with regard to conduct. We want to present the opportunity for decisions to be made collectively rather than in a vacuum. When an RD, once he has the power to suspend, decides that he wants to suspend an individual or a chapter, he needs to speak with and document consultation with the president as leader of the directorate and the executive board rep of that region, who he already works in concert with. We want to offer efficiency and agility in the appropriate administration of formal accountability. We have to realize we're in a different time period. And so we're not going to make hasty decisions, but we want to be able to move quickly when egregious conduct takes place. Right now, for a person to be suspended, that suspension has to be recommended to the board. The board has to consider when the board meeting comes, and then the decision is made, and then it's communicated to the gentleman of the chapter. Quite frankly, it's inefficient to wait for a board meeting to have a decision rendered on a person that conducts themselves inappropriately. Whether it's overturned, whether it's revised, or whether it's upheld, it just is not efficient to wait for the board to meet. So we want to give power to the directorate and also make sure that they do make decisions that are not in a vacuum. Yet, terminally, we preserve the ability for judgments to be scrutinized, then subsequently upheld, revised, or overturned by the executive board. So the initial decision is held with the members of the directorate and executive board rep. If you feel as if you have been wrong, you can always bring that to the executive board immediately, as soon as you receive the letter, as soon as the person in chapter receives the letter, and they will take a look at it immediately, decide quickly if for one, they will stay your penalty, or if they will just keep your penalty and allow you the opportunity to present yourself in a formal hearing. And so this just clarifies the process, so the system of accountability, offers more accountability, and it allows us to move with agility and efficiency, yet we still will not be hasty. The last requirement, or the last amendment, is the community service requirements being increased. As we establish ourselves as a preeminent service-based historically Black organization, as referenced by, or as supported by Computer Labs on work at the international and especially at the local level, we want to continue to further our transition from a first-class organization to a top-tier organization. We're moving from 2 per quarter to 3 per quarter, and leveling the requirements for all chapters within our fellowship. The ultimate goal is for a group to compete 10,000 hours of service annually. That's a whopping number, but if all 83 of our chapters completed 10 hours of service per month, collectively or individually, we would reach that goal. So key in on collectively or individually. We have not differentiated between either one. So if I go to a church with my G's on and we serve the homeless, that counts towards group because I'm representing the group. If I go to a community service with NAACP and it's just me and I have a shirt on, you represented the group. So you should be putting that in to the community service form. Collectively as a chapter, if you work together to serve somebody, we want to count that too. We want to be able to encompass all of our services so that when we go out to these multinational corporation organizations, we can show the real impact of group, right? So remember that, collectively or individually. That's what we're looking for. 3 per quarter, 1 every 30 days, right? The return on that investment would be unconceivable. But to think of it simply, each and every member will be able to say that his organization completes 10,000 hours of service annually. We innately believe in the adage that a rising tide lifts all ships. So this is our attempt to continue to increase requirements, increase expectations, and lead us into the future. Now for our accountability approach as an entity, as a leadership. We believe in a top-down approach. Strong leaders seek none of the credit, but receive all of the blame. I believe that to be true in substance and form. For instance, we have a goal of 1,000 members. If we don't achieve that goal, that's on me. That tells me that I have not inspired, encouraged, led, or supported you enough to accomplish that historical goal. In this administration, we make mistakes, or we refuse to make excuses. That mindset allows me to work with our team to continuously and perpetually create solutions and changes in ways that we handle business, change the ways we operate, because it is really on us to encourage, lead, and support you. And we take that charge seriously. On the other hand, if we do not accomplish that goal, if we do accomplish that goal, it's because of you. It's not because of me. 1,000 members means just that, 1,000 individual members in 83 to 85 chapters. That is on you. Any goal that we accomplish is because of you. I'm just a leader, I'm just a driver. But you gentlemen are the car, the bus, the plane. The accomplishments rest on your shoulders. The failure sit at my feet. And so with that understanding, I will continue to raise the bar and high expectations so that we can broaden our horizons. Now, with all that being said, I want to close with two quotes that are near and dear to my heart. Harriet Tubman said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world." Barack Obama said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we see." So gentlemen, be proud, be encouraged, be dedicated. Because of you, Groove is on the move. My dear brothers, God bless you, your families, and God bless Groove 5 Union Social Fellowship Incorporated.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. We are up to some huge things. We are now moving on to the Q&A aspect of this meeting. So I'm going to read a question to you, and you will then subsequently answer, sir. So I'm going to start with the first question. Most fraternal organizations have signed a formal MOA with civil rights organizations to work in step with each other. Has there been any considerations to this?
Absolutely. And so when we talk about social capital, what comes from human capital, financial capital, the yield, we want to build those relationships, but we have to realize that when we come to the table as an international organization, there are some expectations that these organizations expect from us, similar to some of our competitors. So I personally think I'm of the mindset that we need to build up a little bit more. Again, we're not far from that, but we need to build up a little bit more, because if we're joining or partnering with a national organization, and they have an event that takes place in a place where we may not be either solvent or we may not be as active as we could be, right? Then that's not going to look good for our national partnership. You only get one chance to make the first impression. So we're considering it, but we also have to think about if those organizations align with our goals as groups. You got to remember that from what I hear from our elders and our founders, that we're somewhat of a revolutionary organization. So we take our own approach and our own tact to handle the problems of our communities. Some of the things that we do may be unorthodox. And they're not unorthodox to our elders, but they may be unorthodox to the general community, right? So we got to align ourselves with entities or organizations that are the same mindset, present some form of value to the organization, and also that we can prevent some sort of value too. So again, we're not far from that point, and we're always considering that, but we just have to strengthen ourselves internally a little bit. We got to strengthen our human capital. We have to bring more brothers back to the table, more brothers into the organization. We have to grow in some of these areas where there's not a big or large amount of brothers. We have to build our financial capital so we have the resources to support things. And then at that point, we'll step up to the table as champions. We'll step to the table as victors, as people that bring real value to that organization entity. And so that's why we have to take some time to think about who we join, what we join for, and what will be the benefit for them and for us.
Thank you, sir. The next question, what can we do further to help undergraduate brothers get officially recognized on university campuses? And here's the background. It seems to be a growing trend that institutions are creating blockers for our growth by moving the goalposts on membership qualifications.
So, there's a couple of points around this. All right, so when you think about, all right, so this is not a growing trend. This has been something that's been in place for a long period of time, right? Some of you gentlemen don't realize that it's a trend because, for instance, if we talk about a Morehouse, and we talk about a North Carolina A&T, we talk about ECSU, we talk about Morgan, talk about Lincoln, talk about Delaware State, they have endowments, right? So once you have an endowment with the school, they usually let you walk straight through the front door. And those gentlemen in those chapters know what I'm talking about because I get engaged in those conversations, but I don't have to get engaged when there's already an endowment in place. Secondly, what we've done is we've used or leveraged our total leadership structure to have these conversations. So Crispin, I, Second National Vice President, Regional Directors, we're engaging schools directly. So most schools don't talk to the International President, Vice President, Regional Director on the first conversation. So that makes us stronger. It makes us stronger as an organization. And they also know that we communicate amongst all levels of leadership. And we're not just some ragtag group that belongs to this local university. We're an international institution. Also, we created a packet of documentation that allows the people that are trying to get recognized to just take from the packet, because the packet is a mass of all the documentation that we used at other universities. So you can pick and choose what you need, so you have to create everything. Lastly, we have an insurance policy. Insurance policy used to cost $800. And now we negotiated it down to $500. And of that $500, we pay $250 and you pay $250. And so that brings the cost down from $800 to $250. So that's just some of the things that we're doing to make it easier for campuses to accept us and receive us. A new thing that we're trying now in the North Atlantic region with our regional director, Dennis Garcia, is, well, he's been sending out, I'm talking about, I don't know, probably like 15 packages, okay? All these packages are 100 pages or more. Once we get recognized on campus, then he takes that organization or that campus, engages them, does well, follows the line of thought and training behind what we're supposed to be doing there, and then he gets a letter of recommendation. Brings that letter of recommendation back and holds on to it. Then use that letter of recommendation at other schools. So when schools may not have heard of us, they may not know about us, they can clearly see that the other schools in the state already support us. And they see how we conduct ourselves on those campuses. So it would benefit you to allow us on this campus as well. Last point is, as we look at the HBCU world, they have finally realized that organizations and their growth and their existence have a direct correlation between the student experience. And the student experience being high is directly correlated to enrollment. And our HBCUs all need enrollment. So we found less obstacles in getting recognized on campuses. And even when we do find an obstacle getting recognized on campus, we allow them, though they allow us to run our line school as city chapter and absolve themselves of any of the encumbrances of us running a line through a chapter that's unrecognized. We run it through the city chapter. They don't mind that. We build ourselves up to the point where we can be recognized. So that's just some of the strategies that we have. Of course, we have our digital marketing, which allows students, administration alike to see what Groove truly is. They show us in our best light. And in fact, to them, it's our only light. We have high quality, authentic digital marketing shows us at our best. So that's just some of the strategies. And realize that we don't know all the strategies. We're looking for insight, information, and dedication, people to help us do more, be better. So if the person asked that question, I know you know who you are. If you have ideas, or anybody on this call, anybody not on this call, if you have ideas, let us know. We love to learn, we love to listen. It's our ultimate goal to be the best that we can be. And it's not going to be just by listening to ourselves. But we want to listen to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And just for transparency, we will not be stating the fellowman's name and the chapter or region. We left it anonymous to the fellowship, but we know who the fellowman that submitted the question. So thank you for everyone that submitted your questions. If your question has not been asked today, please know that you'll be getting a call from the president, myself, or a regional director at that point to answer your question. The next question is, what advice could you give a Groove still in their first year in the fellowship as a charter member to build his chapter? What is the best marketing approach to get more members and to run his chapter successfully?
Okay. So first thing you do is start with service. You establish yourself and the chapter as a brand of service. That is the field that we can compete and win on. Make sure that you're serving on your own and also serving with your graduate chapter and serving with other organizations on campus. Through that service, they will look at you as a formidable partner. Then make those relationships and build those relationships with those other organizations on campus so that they can look at you as not only a real organization, but an entity that is on campus that is in the same fight that they're in, that believe in the same things they believe in. Also, contact International Office. If you need the recruiting team, if you need the national STEC team, if you need resources, whether it be money or whether it be people, or whether it be training, contact us, contact the regional director. All these regional directors that we have are invested in helping you grow. We're invested in helping everyone grow, but especially you guys that are by yourself on these campuses representing Groove. We are almost going to give you just about anything to support your cause. Make sure that you keep in contact with the undergraduate apparatus. Go to those weekly meetings. Get to meet your elders, get to meet the other undergrads that are in your sector, and work with them on the side so that you can bring them down to your university and help you along the way. Go through our digital marketing apparatus to create digital marketing things that will help grow your impact on campus, at least from a digital standpoint. So use all the resources that are afforded to you to try to prop up and bring about growth in your chapter.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, what are some ways our fellowship is implementing to promote retention and turn around non-active members who believe that they do not see the point of being active?
So the first thing we touch on is we want to touch on pride. Pride is one of the most powerful emotions that a man, especially a man of color, has. We want people to see that our fellowship is thriving, we're serving. We want people that to go to work and their coworkers say, "Are you part of that?" They're doing exceptional things. We want your family members to come to you and say that Groove is doing exceptional things. We want there to be a sense of pride when you represent this organization, and that's on us. That's on us. We lead the ship. We steer the ship. So we're continuously trying through raising expectations, through some of our larger big ticket, big vision items, through some of our partnerships to create a fellowship that you can be essentially proud of. So we know you're proud of being a Groove. We know you're proud of being a member of G5G, but we want you to be proud of the organization that you're a part of in terms of what we are doing, what our outputs are, who we're connecting with, and especially in comparison to other competing organizations. Secondly, we created 2 membership types to make it easy, right? And then we also created a subscription plan. We are the only organization that has a subscription plan. I've checked with them all. So for $10 a month, $15 a month, or $20 a month, you can be a financial member and get all the rights and privileges. So that was a retention strategy. For new members that go over in the 3rd and 4th quarter, which started on March 1, now we have a prorated fee. So now you pay one fee and a reasonable addition, and you're financial for the first year and the second year. We've retained about 91% of the brothers that went over in the last 3 years, due to that particular fee. So I encourage everybody, don't forget about it, because we did have a number of people that forgot about that fee last year, and they didn't pay it, and it came to September 1, and they were asking, what about the fee? Don't forget, I want you to listen to me clearly. It's from March 1 through August 31st. So you have from March 1 to August 31st to pay that fee. Don't be afraid to ask the question. Don't be afraid to call the RD. Don't be afraid to call the people who are in leadership, your chapter president. If you don't get an answer, keep going high until you get to me. Most likely you won't get to me because everybody on the way up should be able to give you an answer. I know at a minimum the RD would, right? So therefore you can save your call for me just to have a good time and laugh or to teach me something. But call, ask the question. The only bad question is the question that you don't ask. But those are some of the tactics. Also include improving our conclave, improving some of our events, improving our business processes, making sure that we have fairness and parity in administration of our organization's operations, making sure that we support brothers. I mean, there's a plenty of things that we're doing, but we always are looking for more. So that is some of our strategies behind retention. And some of it has been very successful, some has been moderately successful, but nothing has actually failed. So that's my answer to that question.
Thank you, sir. And our last question, is it possible to set up a public relations office for media coverage and communication ideas for group?
We already have one. We just need members. If anybody wants to join that committee and help us, believe me, I would love you to join that committee because that committee really is supposed to be engaging news, media, partners, and in some cases, when something tragic happens in the community, that is a committee that's going to be writing my communication, the initial communication. Of course, I'm going to add my points to it, but again, that speaks to agility. If we're running 100 things at the same time, then it may be hard for me to write something every time something occurs. But if we have a committee in place, like other organizations do, all I got to do is review it, add my little spiel to it, and then we're up and we're out. Because I know the gentleman they like statements. Only thing about me is I like statements, but my statements have to have action behind them. I don't want to be like every other org, just say what we believe in terms of injustice. I want to say what we believe and say, here's what we're going to do about it. And so that is part of that role as well. And so we have a committee, public relations. If you would like to join it, you know who to contact. You can contact any one of us at any level. And we would love for you to join that committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield my time.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So to close it out, again, this has been an exceptional year. And I appreciate everything that you guys have done. I appreciate all the support. It's an honor for me to serve as a president of this organization of such exceptional fellows, exceptional gentlemen and brothers, people who I've leaned on for decades, who we've all leaned on for decades. And I encourage you to stay engaged, get other people engaged, let them know the direction of the organization. Be engaged in some of our community service initiatives, be engaged in our initiatives by and large. Right now, we have an initiative created by a fellow named Kazimaya Ra, Groove 5 Reads. This is the next iteration. This is the next level of where Groove's going. First, we had Dress Like a King. We still have that. Now we have Groove 5 Reads. I still have to go take my picture with my book. And what we're doing is showing people that, yeah, Black men read, for one. Men of color read. Groove 5 reads. And we're encouraging others to read. So all you have to do is take a picture of you in a book. And then when we all see the picture, and when these kids in the community see the picture, they say, hey, Black men do read. Why don't I read? Or they look at the book that you're holding in your hand and say, I didn't know about that book. I need to read that book. I've already looked at some of your books and said, I don't have that book. I need to go find that book. So take advantage of these things. It doesn't take much, but the outcome, what we get from it is exponential. The conclave is coming. Buy your tickets. Come to these events. We curated them just for you, not for me, not for Crispin, not for Mark Moss. We did it for you. We listened to what you thought, to what you wanted. We have buses to take you to and from safely. This time we doubled up on buses, so you don't have to wait hardly more than 10 minutes to get to and from. They are nice venues. You have to thank the chair of the executive board, who also serves as the vice chair of the conclave planning committee, and also Ace Minor. They have curated these events just for you. So take advantage. Buy your tickets. Let's fellowship. Let's have a good time. Let's also do the business of Groove. The business has been taken, that has been, brothers have been completing since way before I was here. And I always say that we're going towards being a top tier organization. I joined the first class organization. Many of you gentlemen joined the first class organization. So it's nothing that we have created. You have created. So now you will create the ability for us to go to a top tier. But you gotta be dedicated, right? You gotta be proud. You gotta follow the steps of the men that came before you. You gotta do something that you may not want to do at a time you don't want to do it in order to get what you really want. So, in closing out the formal part of this, I love you, brothers, each and every one of you. Whether we agree or disagree, I love you all, and I mean that. We are all real brothers. I look at all you as my family, like my blood, and I appreciate you. And I want you all to be safe. I want your families to be safe, and I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you in Miami. Thank you, John.